Man, I will kick your... Ah, son of a bitch! Jack! Bobby!
The film opens with an elderly woman driving to a store. She notices a local boy who has just stolen candy. She brings him back inside and tells the cashier to call the police, reminding the boy that every wrong action has consequences. The boy apologizes and runs home. Moments later, two robbers storm into the store. They empty the cash register and shoot the cashier dead. The woman tries to hide behind the shelves, but her fear gives her away, and the robbers find her. After her death, many people attend the funeral of Evelyn Mercer, including her adopted sons. Near the house where they grew up, the police were watching. One officer mentioned the eldest son, Bobby Mercer, known as the Michigan Mauler. Jack was the youngest. He didn't look like a troublemaker, but he was just as reckless as his brother. Jeremiah was the third son, appearing more like a law-abiding citizen than the others. The fourth brother was a soldier, but for some reason, he was not there. Evelyn had been a kind mother. She had taken hundreds of children out of orphanages and found them homes. Among them were 4 boys who were the most troublesome and impossible to place. So Evelyn decided to adopt them herself. The brothers already knew Lieutenant Green since they had all grown up in the same neighborhood. Bobby was determined to go after the men who killed his mother. He understood how the police worked and didn't trust them. Later, at Evelyn's house, the fourth brother joined them. He had missed his flight and couldn't make it to the funeral. In their old house, they remembered their childhood and returned to their familiar rooms, lost in nostalgia. It was rare for them to all be together. Bobby grew serious, took their mother's room, and soon broke down in tears. Angel decided to visit Sophia, an old acquaintance who lived nearby. His brothers warned him not to go because she already had a boyfriend, but he ignored them. Before long, Angel and Sophia were nearly naked and ended up running from a gangster. Angel brought her back to the house, and now she wanted to live with them. Bobby strongly objected and told Angel exactly what he thought. The two brothers joked and scuffled while the youngest was busy preparing a memorial lunch. In that moment, they remembered how Evelyn had once taught them good manners. Evelyn would often scold them for things like splashing water or resting their elbows on the table. She could also spot a new tattoo right away, shaking her head at yet another one. Before lunch was even finished, Bobby urged everyone to go play hockey. The game turned rough, and they even fought with some local guys. It had been a long time since they had shared moments together like this. After the hockey game, the brothers met with the lawyer to settle the inheritance. He handed them a stack of documents. Some of them discovered information about their biological parents, but Angel found nothing. No records had been kept for him. They quickly divided the money and went to the warehouse Jeremiah had just bought to start a new business. After that, they gathered at a bar for something stronger to drink. The older brothers teased Jack, who liked to think of himself as a cool rock musician. The bartender came over, offered his condolences, and then spoke about a local gang causing trouble. Angel, Bobby, and Jack were determined to hunt down the men who had killed their foster mother. Jerry, the responsible one of the family, decided to head home. The remaining 3 pressed the bartender for more information. Then they armed themselves. Bobby handed one brother a pistol, gave another a can of gasoline, and kept a shotgun for himself. The 3 stormed into a bar where a group of thugs were having fun. They shouted, "Police!" and several men scattered. The ones who stayed, along with their girlfriends, were forced to sit on the couch. The leader was doused with gasoline, and the questioning began. This wasn't the time to talk, it was the time to listen. He claimed to be a witness and said he had seen the killers while hanging out at the basketball court. But the murder happened at 11, and the court lights went out at 10. That meant he couldn't have been there. Still, they didn't believe him and took him to the court to see for themselves. Sure enough, the lights were off, so they let him go. The witness had been bribed. The first lead failed, and the brothers returned empty-handed. Bobby began to suspect that Evelyn was the real target and that the robbery was only a cover. The next morning, Jerry joined the other 3. Together, they went to the store owner to ask for the recording of their mother's murder. After watching the footage, they realized her death was pointless. The money had already been taken, and she never even saw their faces. It was nothing but an execution. Someone was said to have heard the gunshots. The police spent the most time questioning him. Once they learned the witness was a man named Safra, the brothers went to the basketball court where he usually hung out. Bobby stopped the game and started mocking the players. He threw the ball into one man's face and immediately pulled out his gun. A thug spoke up, mentioning his mother who had been brutally murdered. Hearing the description, a boy tried to run away. Jack chased after him while Angel blocked the back exit. Seeing they had caught him, Bobby finished his warning. It was clear the guy was trying to warn someone, and that someone was his brother, Damien. The description matched him perfectly. After looking up information on the athlete, they found where he lived. Jerry was absent again, needing to take his daughters to gymnastics. The other brothers waited for Damien in the car. Before long, he showed up. The brothers gave chase. Seeing Bobby with a gun, the man panicked and ran. Back at his apartment, he unleashed 2 Rottweilers to attack Bobby. Angel quickly grabbed a fire extinguisher and scared the dogs away. Damien had already prepared a rope for his escape. He leapt from the 6th floor, firing shots as he went down. Bobby had no better option than to cut the rope. Damien crashed onto the pavement and began begging for an ambulance. They offered him a deal, an ambulance in exchange for names. Before they left, he gave in and pointed to the 2 men who had paid him to lie as a witness. They needed to catch them at the casino. When they arrived, the Mercer family quickly spotted the 2 killers from the description. But the men noticed them as well and opened fire immediately. The brothers gave chase in their car. Heavy snow made visibility difficult on the road. Angel shot the driver with his pistol, and the car crashed into a snowbank. Bobby rammed their car, but the chase didn't end there. At last, he forced the criminal's vehicle to spin out and flip over completely. Angel and Bobby quickly overpowered the thugs and finished them off, just as they had done to their mother. The next morning, Lieutenant Green and Detective Fowler arrived at the crime scene. Afterward, they visited the Mercer house. Dr. Ashemarf told them about Evelyn's death. Bobby denied any involvement, but Fowler presented a strand of hair found on one of the dead killers. Still, Bobby knew this was just an old setup. He refused to be tricked into confessing. Green asked Bobby if he had found anything, but Bobby stayed silent. Meanwhile, gang leader Victor grew furious because his men had hired local killers instead of bringing in hitmen from another city. He forced Evan, the overweight member of the group, to eat on the floor. Evan's wife protested, but eventually had to sit down and eat beside him. Sweet then ordered them to find out who had killed the gunman. Meanwhile, the 2 brothers wanted to find out who had hired the killers. Sophia convinced Angel to stay, just like when they were 16. When only the brothers were left, an insurance agent arrived to ask about their mother's life insurance policy. They discovered that Jerry had taken out a large policy on her. At that moment, Sophia panicked when she saw a box of condoms, something she was allergic to. Jerry slammed the door shut to speak privately with the agent. His business was on the verge of collapse, while his brother was about to receive $400,000. In the shooter's apartment, the police uncovered a massive cache of weapons. At the same time, Angel discovered that Jerry was tied to an organized crime gang. Exactly which gang it was, only someone at City Hall might know. He was the one who shut down Jerry's business and drove him to bankruptcy. In the shooter's home, along with the weapons, the police found a camera containing photos of Evelyn. In those photos, she was seen with the lawyer who had written her will. The 4 brothers stormed into his house. Sophia, the talkative one, showed up and started arguing with Angel in the middle of the street. At that moment, the lawyer arrived. Bobby threw the man into the snow, pulled up his shirt, and slapped his belly. Why had he lied about only meeting Evelyn once? In truth, he'd been involved with their mother. Bobby then apologized for roughing him up and for the broken window. Later, while Bobby was on the toilet and Jack was showering, Angel revealed that the 4th brother hadn't been completely honest. He was bankrupt. They needed to meet an official named Douglas. Meanwhile, the lieutenant questioned the lawyer, who revealed that Evelyn had filed a report with the police on the day she was killed. At the same time, the 2 brothers ambushed Councilman Douglas in the parking lot, forcing him to reveal the gang Jerry had been involved with. He ignored them and got into the car, but it was already soaked in gasoline. Bobby poured more fuel and held a burning cigarette. At the same time, Jerry received a bill while Angel followed him. Lieutenant Green reviewed the surveillance footage and discovered that Evelyn had met Detective Fowler on the day of the murder, but he never mentioned it. Bobby learned that Victor had once worked for his uncle, then drowned him to seize the neighborhood. Jerry was deep in debt. Soon after, he went to the bowling alley, handed Evan a bag of cash. Jerry collected a large life insurance payout from his mother's death. The two brothers confronted Evan, threatened him with guns, and stole his bag of cash. Later, the councilman met with Sweet. He panicked, having been questioned by both the police and Bobby. Sweet realized he had betrayed them and forced him to sit at a children's table. During a poker game, he insulted a subordinate and threatened his fiancée. He sent the women and children away, then executed the councilman. The two brothers were eager to confront Jerry. When he arrived at their mother's house, Bobby immediately punched him and forced him to answer about Evelyn's murder. Jerry said Evelyn had bought the insurance herself. He only paid the premiums and covered her bills over the years. Sweet had sabotaged his business, and now he needed a $20,000 bribe just to get City Hall's approval. As they argued, someone knocked on the door. Jack opened it and was hit by a snowball. He chased the attacker, but the killer shot the youngest brother. Before Jack could be killed, Bobby shot the killer with a handgun. At that moment, a gang jumped out of a car. Jack was hit in the leg, and the brothers rushed inside. Jack screamed, and the Mercer family opened fire. 3 gangsters were taken down. Bobby shot through a wall to rescue the others. One attacker came in through the back door, and Jerry stabbed him. Angel shot another from the second floor. Out of ammo, Bobby killed the last sniper with a brick. Bobby nearly got run over by a truck, but Jerry rammed it in time. Jack bled out and died. Bobby asked the driver who sent them, then shot him. Green arrived and asked what had happened. The lieutenant revealed that Sweet killed their mother because she wanted to put the gangster in jail after discovering he was ruining her son's life. Green went to the billiard room to confront his corrupt partner, Fowler. Everything Fowler said was a lie. Green grabbed a pool cue and hit him, then walked to his car. Fowler chased him on the street and shot Green, then reported over the radio that 2 black men had shot his men. Green and Jack were killed. The brothers realized they could no longer count on the police. Bobby regretted going home, unsure of what to do next, not wanting to lose another brother. Jerry offered $400,000 to ease his mind. Bobby met Evan and passed along the offer. They agreed to meet in 3 hours, but first, Fowler had to be dealt with. Jerry withdrew the money and sent his family away. His wife asked Bobby to watch over her husband. Angel found a boy in the field, gave him $20 and some chocolate for help. The boy knocked on Fowler's door, distracting him, and Angel sneaked in. She put a bag over his head, tightened a belt, and strangled the corrupt officer. Jerry carried the money to meet Evan. 2 other gangsters blocked him, searched him, and took him to the boss. Angel didn't kill Fowler, even though he was a corrupt cop, because it was too serious a crime. Sophia went to the police, reporting that her boyfriend planned to kill an officer, prompting a team to head to Fowler's house. Jerry's car stopped on a frozen lake where a hole had been pre-cut. Angel said she would tell the police that he killed his men, but no one would believe Mercer. She was wearing a recorder, and the lieutenant in the truck overheard their entire conversation. Fowler didn't give up and attacked Angel. Sweet arrived at the meeting point. The gangster stepped out, eyeing the money. Sweet said that with $400,000, he should forgive the brothers as he had just lost his mother and brother. In reality, Jerry had another offer, to give the money to the workers nearby. Fowler had other matters to handle, and Angel was taken hostage. The police had no idea what was happening. They came to help him, but he did something reckless. A cop fired, and a sniper took him down. Angel wasn't wearing a bug. He had tricked Fowler. Sweet wondered which of his men dared to take him out. Bobby appeared on the horizon, challenging the man who killed his mother. The fight erupted. Bobby knocked Sweet unconscious. His old subordinate picked up the body and threw it into an ice pick. The Mercer couple was questioned at the police station, but their statements were supported by alibis from the officers' mothers. the brothers began fixing up the house. The local boys were sad that Evelyn didn't return. Bobby got to see his mother again.